Yo ho everybody, and welcome to another edition of Yinzer on Hockey. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about the Gary Bettman deposition in the Concussion Lawsuit. There is a group of approximately 150 players that have filed a lawsuit against the NHL, claiming that the amount of concussions sustained over the course of their career has led to less than perfect lifestyle outside or after their hockey careers. And Gary Bettman was deposed in the matter a couple of days ago, and to me said a few things that I don't quite agree with, and I understand from his perspective why he has to say these things. First and foremost, I am a Gary Bettman fan. I think Gary Bettman is the best commissioner in all of the four major North American sports, and I appreciate the growth that the league has seen since his time as commissioner, which began in 1993. This, however, is one aspect of Gary Bettman's tenure that I have never fully agreed with. Being hit in the head is dangerous, both in the short term and the long term. I know because it's so difficult to study the brain and to study the chemistry of what's going on in a human's brain while they are alive, there is no definitive evidence to decree that multiple concussions causes CTE, and I know that the medical field is never going to come out and say with 100% certainty that this is the case, because nothing in medicine is with 100-degree certainty. You know, you smoke for 30 years, there's still not 100% certainty that you're going to develop lung cancer, or you spend every waking hour in the sun. There's no guarantee that you're going to develop any type of skin disease or any type of skin cancer. You know, there's no 100% in medicine. There's always variables. There's always degrees of uncertainty, which is fine from the medical professionals, and why they do that is to basically to mitigate themselves from any type of legal disputes down the road. But Bettman uses this 100% certainty as his armor, basically. He is saying that without the medical field saying that there is 100% certainty that concussions cause CTE, he is not going to issue any warnings or settle any lawsuits without the 100% certainty from the medical professionals. And to me, that's not fair to the sport as a whole, that he is ignoring these injuries, that he is ignoring the prolonged effects of concussions, and it's not fair to the players and future players. What we're seeing in other sports is a decline in the talent level because of the dangers of the sports. If you look at the high school football and the amount of parents of younger children saying, my kids are never going to play football because it's dangerous, the NFL won't recognize concussions as a major medical problem, and they won't do anything to promote the safety of the sport. If Gary Bettman does not get in front of this concussion lawsuit and make all major necessary changes to promote safety within the sport, we're going to be looking at the same decline in popularity that you're seeing across the NFL, which I attribute more to the concussions and the safety of the sport than to whatever the political dramas going on in the NFL. I don't get involved in all that, but I know that I don't want my kids watching football saying, I really want to play football because I want my kids to be safe, and I don't think there's enough being done to make football a safe sport. I think in the lower ranks of hockey, there is so much emphasis on safety being placed that the NHL is ignoring coming from the lower ranks. There's no checking in junior level hockeys across the country. There's no headshots. There's no fighting in junior level hockey. That's all, not part of the game, and it doesn't need to be part of the game. I, for one, enjoy a good body check. I think seeing a player who times a hit perfectly and is able to throw a big hit without physically injuring the opponent, and for an opponent to get up and go, yeah, that was a good hit, that's one of the most enjoyable things to watch about hockey. Seeing guys recklessly target heads, I think fighting is pretty much sorted itself out. There's just not enough. There's not enough justification for fighting in the league anymore. There's not many enforcers left in the league, and then that doesn't. So that's kind of sorted itself out, and I don't think that fighting was one of the major contributors to the concussions. I don't think it was. Even Gary Bettman in his deposition said that the force of a professional boxer delivering a punch with a glove that's designed to allow him to throw a punch as hard as he can and hit somebody in the head is not the same as the few punches that are thrown in a hockey fight. It's just not the same. And I don't think that was a major contributing. I think the NHL needs to do all it can to eliminate any type of head contact. It's not necessary in the sport, accidental or intentional. It is absolutely not needed as part of the sport. I've heard people argue with me like, well, if you make head contact illegal, then you're going to have guys ducking into people's shoulders to make their head the focal point of contact, and I don't see a player throwing his head in front of somebody. I just don't see that happening. I think that hockey needs to adapt the IIHF rules where any type of head contact is illegal. Incidental or intentional, both illegal, and head contact needs removed from the sport. It's not needed. And I think that Gary Bettman needs to do all that he can to settle the concussion lawsuit, to show people that they are serious about promoting the health of the sport and promoting the health of the players. They need to settle the concussion lawsuit. The NFL settled it 5 years ago. NHL is now 5 years behind the NFL in regards to understanding and recognizing that concussions are a major medical issue that needs to be addressed. These are human beings on the ice playing the sport. It is not, they are not an opening act in Las Vegas. They have their own guys for that. This is people who have an average career of probably 3 to 5 years or less, who have to live beyond just the couple of years they play hockey. They still have basically a whole second life to live after hockey. They have to be able to function for themselves. They have to be able to go, they have to be able to get jobs and be a functioning part of society, be it in business or industry or whatever they choose to do after hockey. They still have to have the mental capacity to be able to do that. And if the NHL continues to ignore concussions, you are removing the livelihood of these players' post-hockey career. I get it. Superstars make tons of money. You know, they get the 8, 10, 12, 14 million dollars a year or whatever to play hockey while they play, and sometimes that's justifiable to be able to carry them through the rest of their life with proper investments and money management. But there's other guys that are playing in the league for 3 to 4 years at a $300,000 to $500,000 salary, and are not able to sustain that type of lifestyle after hockey, and they have to be able to re-adapt into society. I know this seems like a rant. It seems like a guy that's just trying to push his own agenda or whatever. It's not. This is something that I am passionate about. Mental health is a very sensitive topic to me. I have an autistic child. I understand the nuances of dealing with mental health issues. I want people to understand that, yes, hockey is the greatest game on earth, and there's a lot of great moments within the game, but I don't think many people look at somebody targeting a person's head and go, that's the greatest hit I ever seen. There's just no place for it in hockey. It's time to move on. It's time to get with the current game is speed and skill. I get it. There's a lot of moving parts and things may happen, but players will play with more control. They change and they adapt their games to the rules that are presented in front of them. And that's my take on it. Let me know in the comments below how you feel about the NHL and how they're dealing with the concussion saga. How do you feel? What needs to change to make the sport safer? Would you allow your kids to play hockey in today's NHL with the current system it's in? Be sure to hit like and subscribe if you're just passing through the channel. I upload hockey-related content with a fair bit of regularity, and I would like to continue to do so for all 31 teams in the NHL. Thank you for watching, and